Hello, and welcome back to Suzerain with the Republic of the Swordland. And it sucked. Last episode, the super long episode I've hosted that we didn't get the screen for at all. I know, it sucks. For those of you who didn't, watch that episode, because, if you didn't want to, I just wanted to give a brief overview to try. I really skimmed through it, tried to get some important stuff that happened in it, because there was some pretty important stuff that happened. So one, the refugees did get stopped in the border of Welland. We did do the pincer maneuver thing where our troops just stayed on the border, and Operation Bear Trap, that. Yeah, this going on. I don't think I've read this. Operation Bear Trap, war against the BFF. President Malik Welland has declared the launch of Operation Bear Trap against the separatist militant group known as the British Freedom Front. The Wessex government accuses the group for causing unrest and violence in Welland and hold them accountable for terror attacks against political and civilian targets. The operation is aiming at neutralizing the British Freedom Front's activities in the region, particularly focusing on the British populated areas in northern Welland. The president has stated that the operation will be conducted with the utmost care for civilian safety, and that all necessary measures will be taken to prevent harm to innocent people. The international community is concerned about the excessive use of force by the Wessex armed forces, combined with the President Malik's track record against the British community and the quickly introduced temporary ban on international media. The international community is watching the development with worry and urges the Wessex government to show restraint and be transparent about the operation. Alright, well, there you go. That's what is happening that you didn't see. I did some budget placement for education, and especially though the big thing was healthcare did great. I got a whole bunch of new improvements for healthcare. All the political parties came together, every one of them, to say, stop Supreme Court. Fix the Bergia situation. The current guy sucks and is breaking the rights of everyone, because these are rightful citizens who they are going after. So even the NFP group was like, well, come on, we can't. This is horrific. We can't have this happening because these are rightful citizens, as the Constitution states. And because now we had some disagreements on some things, but I believe that their message was the one that the Supreme Court would be most likely to listen to. We sent our combined message to the Supreme Court, and they actually agreed. Governor Braun of the Supreme Zone of the Special Zone got fined and got his job removed. They put a new person in charge. Don't love the person. They went around my presidential choice for the rest of the term. Don't love that, but oh well, it happens. The radicals also, where are they? The news. The radical also did not love the way I did it. Supreme Court decision falls short of justice again, that sort of stuff. They didn't love that. I ended up having a split. I made it where evolution was forced to be taught, but creationism can still be taught. Big thing, growth it went from down to middle to up, and now we're doing amazing growth-wise. Sadly, to do that, I did have to go a little into debt, but, oh, and also in my notes, we also promised to privatize the company and make sure Marcel Correnti gets majority shares, and then I no longer owe any favors to him. So yeah, those are the major things that I saw that I wanted to go over, just in case you were one of the people who didn't decide to watch that whole long video, because one, it's long, two, it didn't actually have the words to read along with, and There's some people I know that probably sucked for. I don't know if people complained in the comments or anything, because, well, the video is not out yet when I'm recording this. But I hope it's okay, and let's just move on and see where we move on to next. Requested meeting of Lucian Gallade. Office the President of Swordland, Maroon Palace. Lucian scheduled some time with me to discuss the potential political repercussions of the upcoming economy meeting. He arrived on time as usual and took a seat right across from me. Good morning, Mr. President. Lucian had dark circles below his eyes. The plethora of political developments must have been weighing on even on a workaholic like him. You look a bit tired. Are you getting enough sleep? I'm trying to, sir. Very well. I booked some of your time to pre-plan for today's meeting at the Ministry of Economy, but before going into the economic direction, I want to give you a short status update. You and Mr. Kibinar made your statement in support of the Sol's constitutionalism. The Supreme Court prioritized this case and quickly announced a verdict. It was very clever of you to use Solism against them. They couldn't afford to look like hypocrites, so they must have moved on it very quickly. The court ruled that Felix Braun is to be relieved from his position as governor for abusing his powers to discriminate against Sordish citizens. He is banned from serving any political positions in the future, and we charged with a fine of 5 million Sordish ren. The resettlement policies of Bergia are ruled to be unconstitutional and have been revoked. Thank you! This gives a good overview of what has been going on. However, the court has also rejected Ursen's arguments about the Constitution, ruling that all citizens Swordlands are swords, regardless of ethnicity, and are completely equal before the law. The rule received a mixed response from Bludish community. Activists, radical, and BFF sympathizers have condemned the ruling. However, the majority seem to recognize that the justice has been served. Thank you for informing me, Lucian. Do you have any idea how we should proceed? I don't think there's anything we need to do at this moment, sir. There's one important detail. The seat of Governor of Bergia must be filled. Normally, the President appoints the Governor of the Special Zone directly. I'm afraid, despite Miss Morgan's protest, the court decided to take a different route on this. Mr. Hockner, I argue that a premature departure of a governor during their term is an exceptional case. They ruled that the deputy of Governor Braun will assume his duty until the end of the term. Mr. Kibner might have played you, unfortunately. The deputy in question, Mr. Kroll, is a member of the NFP. I'm afraid the court delivered Bergia straight into the NFP's hands. This is very bad news. What do we do now? Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it, sir. Luckily, Mr. Kroll will not be able to resume any of his predecessors' unconstitutional activities. Of course, giving such a powerful position to a far-right nationalist is still very concerning. Luckily, Miss Morgan is already working on the semi-autonomous zone in Bergia. We may still be able to get rid of Mr. Kroll that way. However, there might be a problem with its timings. It would likely be ready after the vote for the amendments. If the vote succeeds, as we've been working for, your limited degree of powers won't be enough to enact a change this grand. I'm afraid you won't be able to enact this change without the approval of the Assembly in that scenario. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Ugh. Oh, boy, that does make things more difficult. We'll deal with it. It would be very hard to convince them to revoke the special zone, but with Mr. Braun, an important fundraiser for the USP gone, the party may be willing to move against Governor Kroll. I'm sure we can find a way to convince the party by then. Of course, sir. He took a look at his watch. For now, I'm sitting in my bed, but let me still turn off my fan, just in case it's causing noise. For now, let's return back to the real reason we are here, our economic direction. We need to be cautious. Any grand plans about the economy also heavily influence our political standings. We would be changing our relationship with the old guard, the oligarchs, and the opposition. As you know, this meeting will give the opportunity to alter the ownership of the Big Four, the largest corporations of all of Swordland. You could start the process of nationalization or privatization, or we can just keep the status quo. Again, I remind you that change will tip an already fragile balance. I personally think we should stay out of this and keep things as they are. There's no need to make a new political enemies at this stage in our term. But ultimately, the decision is yours. What are you leaning towards? How should we move forward? Let's see. Privatize company. We will privatize these companies. I have to ask, why? What is your intention? If we want to improve our relationship, I'm just gonna be honest with them. Yeah, the oligarchs are powerful. They might aid us in the assembly if we help them. It's good to think strategically like that, but if we make them too powerful, they might end up stabbing us in the back. There might be dire repercussions. One thing to remember is that since we've been transparent about promoting the market economy, privatization will cost us much support. I received a report from the Ministry of Economy that may impact your decision. Unfortunately, we have missed our government budget targets for our current quarter. The plan to change the ownership of imported assets could help us generate much-needed resources to further improve economic development before the next election. It's just something to consider, as is our relation with the oligarchs. We need to remember that they only care about their own profits. Thankfully, we are on good terms with them for now, which helps us with the economic recovery. If we implement a privatization plans, it will boost our relationship even further. Walter Tusk seems to be organizing several opposing conservative and nationalist assembly members to back us in the upcoming vote. If we maintain our standing with him, our reform process will benefit. It's good to know that Tusk is actively supporting our administration. Just be careful with him. Remember, any path we take here could very well determine what battles we fight in the future. Some of my connections indicate that there seems to be a contest for leadership in the Lotharberg group. Looks like Marcel Currenti is making moves to become the key figure. Currenti wants his father's seat as the head of the group, and Tusk doesn't want to let go of it. A significant power struggle considering these are the heads of Swordland's two largest private corporations. If we over-privatize our state-owned companies, the Sword Estate Corporation and Native Mining Group, it could result in a balance tipping to one side. They would fight over buying up shares and cause chaos. So you have already made the decision to privatize. You need to be decisive in your follow-up actions. Did Marcel or Tusk contact me? I received a call from Marcel. What did he ask for? He wanted to make a deal to leave HOS untouched. And then? I said I'd think about it. Very well. Was that all he wanted? He also wanted me to give him the shares for the privatization to lower Tusk's influence. As I expected. Technically, I didn't even agree. I said I'd think about it and that he'd get rid of his favor. So I at least didn't promise him anything. I said I'd think about it. So, in the video, you might not have watched it, but I did say I'd think about it. This internal conflict among the oligarchs puts us in an interesting position. Our relationship with Walter Tusk has been strong, very strong so far. We have the backing of the oligarchs to thank for that. Lucian looked at his watch. Very well then, it's almost time. I'll inform Mr. Hull of your decision, and he will make the necessary preparation to formulate a plan. I must get back to work now. See you at the next meeting. Thank you for your time, sir. Lucian got up from his chair and left the office. In 1956, he was dismissed from his position as governor. He was charged for enacting unconstitutional discriminatory policies by the Supreme Court. Woo! Herbert Kroll. After the Supreme Court's decision to dismiss Governor Braun for following unconstitutional policies, he was appointed as the governor of the special zone of Bergia to serve until 1959, when the 6-year term of Governor Braun was supposed to end. I don't see anything there for now, but whatever. News. Swordish Arcatian joint drills at Ellery Air Base. Arcatia, having been granted access to Ellery Air Base, has been running joint military drills with Swordish planes. The exercise is indicative of the deepening trust between our country and Arcatia following the deal, during which Arcatia also promised Swordland financial, logistical, and equipment support. Increased support for British rights outside of Bergia. Many Swordish citizens around Swordland particularly the city of Latvia, is experiencing a remarkable shift in public opinion, as a wave of support for Bludish rights sweeps through its middle-class liberal population. The Ishval-Erzin case has served as a catalyst, involving a deep sense of empathy and solidarity among its residents. The resonating statements made by the Workers' Party of Bludia, WPB, and its officials, advocating for amendments to Article 6 and 7, have struck a chord with the people of Latvian. The calls for reform to recognize and safeguard Bludish rights have gained significant momentum, with residents fervently asserting that the time for genuine change has arrived. New Governor of Bergia, Herbert Kroll. Yesterday, Herbert Kroll, a seasoned politician from the NFP, has officially taken charge as the new governor of the special zone of Bergia. Following the removal of former Governor Felix Braun from his position, Kroll's appointment has generated anticipation and concern among the residents of the region. Having previously served as Braun's deputy, Kroll brings valuable experience and understanding of the unique challenges faced by the special zone. In his inaugural address, Kroll expressed his commitment to maintaining stability and fostering a peaceful environment for all residents. Addressing the people of Bergia, Kroll urged their cooperation and support in his effort to bring about positive change to the region, emphasized his decision to upholding the Constitution and ensuring the protection of the rights of all swords, irrespective of their ethnic background. WPDB condemns Supreme Court decision. The Workers' Party of Bludia, WPB, has vehemently denounced the recent decision of the Supreme Court in the Ishval-Erzin case, declaring it a grave setback for justice and equality. In a scathing statement, the WPB criticized the court for perpetuating discrimination and neglecting the legitimate demands of the Bludish community, accusing the court of turning a blind eye to the systematic marginalization faced by the Bludish people. The WPB called for a sweeping overhaul of the justice system to guarantee fair treatment and equal opportunities for all citizens. They also called the administration to action and include their proposed changes to Article 6 and 7 in the upcoming reforms to right the wrongs of the justice system. The WPB's condemnation serves as a reminder of the urgent need for transformative change, emphasizing the importance of addressing deep-rooted structural issues that continue to hinder the progress and perpetuate injustice within the nation. Walker's capitalism versus Dioxer's reform. As Arcatian's election drama unfolded, Charles Droxer of the Reformist Union Party emerged as a formidable challenger to President Dwight Walker. Drox presented a vision divergent from Walker's staunch Arcatian capitalism. He argued for a more balanced approach between the public and private sectors, suggesting that unchecked privatization and deregulation could breed systematic disparities. Highlighting the country's signs of economic stagnation, he attributed this to not only the considerable expenditures of the ATO alliance and Arcatia's frigid standoff with the United Cartana, but also the socio-economic structure itself. While Walker's legacy resonates with many Arcatians, Dixer's dervish message captured the hearts and minds of a sizable constituent concerned about the widening chasm of inequality. As tensions heightened, especially among the Rumburgian migrants and Arcatians, the choice seemed to be between maintaining an aggressive capitalist trajectory or reconsidering the nation's socio-economic foundations. Tensions keep rising in the Marquian Sea. According to reports from the Agnolian government, the Vaxlandian fleet, which has been patrolling the Marquian Sea, was directly responsible for the disappearance of 2 fishing vessels and an oil tanker that belonged to Agnolia. Prime Minister Van Houten called the Alliance of Nations to investigate the incident, while also increasing their own naval presence in the region. Reports indicate that a massive Agnolian fleet, which is made out of destroyers, cruiser, and the flagship of the Navy, are also patrolling the Marquian Sea close to Hedgeland. Prime Minister Van Houten condemned Chancellor Hegel in his speech yesterday, saying the Chancellor is trying to prison us in our own homes with his show of strength. But he should know Agnolia does not stand alone. We will react swiftly and decisively if we're threatened. Alright, what's going on here? Herbert Kroll assumes office. Yesterday, Herbert Kroll has taken over as the new governor of the special zone of Bergia, following the charges and removal of former Governor Braun from his position. Kroll, a seasoned politician from the NFP, who served as a deputy of Felix Braun, has promised to work towards ensuring that the special zone remains stable and peaceful. He has called on the people of Bergia to cooperate with him in bringing about positive changes to the region. Kroll has also emphasized his commitment to upholding the Constitution and respecting the rights of all swords, regardless of their ethnicity or backgrounds. Suzerain. Mixed reaction protests against Supreme Court decision. According to reports, the British people living in the city of Suzerain are outraged by the recent Supreme Court ruling. Despite celebrations of Governor Braun's dismissal taking place in the streets for hours, many are expressing skepticism and frustration towards the government's inability to fully recognize and address the systematic discrimination they face. Celebrations on the streets soon turned to protest, with demonstrators calling for more comprehensive reform and reparations for past injustices. Some are also demanding the resignation of Chief Justice Walker, citing a lack of sensitivity and understanding towards the British community. The situation remained tense, with authorities working to maintain order, while also trying to address the grievances of the protesters. Alright, what's going on in Ribble? BFF threatens attacks against President Rain and Kezaro Kibiner. According to intelligence reports, several leaders of the BFF held a secret gathering in Ribble, following the Supreme Court's decision to reject Erzin's arguments about the racism of the Constitution, reiterating their commitment to soulism. Following the meeting, the BFF released a statement rejecting the Souls Constitution, threatening to launch attacks against President Rain and Kezaro Kibiner. Concerning, but hopefully it'll be fine. Cortana Security Pack. CSP launches first 3 spy satellites leap in surveillance. Marking a significant leap in surveillance capabilities, the CSP has successfully launched and operationalized its first 3 spy satellites equipped with advanced imaging and radar technology. These satellites represent a critical step forward in the CSP's defensive preparedness and intelligence gathering prowess. The satellites, codenamed Quajtek, Valadim, and Onneil, will be operated in the low Earth orbit, providing a continuous and broad coverage across potential regions of interest. They are designed to deliver high-resolution images for detailed intelligence and analysis, and incorporate advanced radar systems capable of penetrating cloud cover or darkness. This technological advancement underscores the CSP's commitment to a robust security framework and effective intelligence. Alright, what's going on in Arvery? Vagsland Navy active in Marquian Sea. The Hedgeland Island has been disputed territory for many years between Agnolia and Vagsland. Because of the fact that Swordland is also recognizing the island as belonging to Agnolia, Vagslandian Navy, probably with hopes to scare us, has been leading patrolling missions close to our territorial waters. Vagsland increased Navy activities in the Marquian Sea are heightening a standoff between Agnolia and Vagsland, strengthening their rivalry for each other. I see. WPB contemns the Supreme Court. The Workers' Party of Bludia, WPB, has issued a strong condemnation of the Supreme Court's decision regarding the Ishvalerson case. In a statement released by the party, they expressed their deep disappointment and disagreement with the Supreme Court, which they believe is actively enabling discrimination and inequality faced by the Bludish community of the country. The WPB argued that the Supreme Court is further perpetuating the marginalization of Bludish people and disregarding their legitimate demands for justice and equal rights. They called for a comprehensive review of the justice system to ensure fair treatment and equal opportunities for all citizens. Then we got the ownership changes, but we'll deal with the ownership changes in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.